What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and we have got the update announcement for the next month's update, and we are going to be seeing remix of Nott and Ashera. So Nott is going to be getting Distant Dart as her remix skill, which is not the best thing because she is going to be used in Aether Raids defense, and there you don't really need to run a distant counter skill. If she had to get this, I wish she got distant bonus doubler to go along with her weapon, but unfortunately she doesn't. And then she has got her remix to her Moon Twin Wing. So it is going to be having the +7 phantom speed, and it is going to be inflicting -5 attack speed and defense debuff on the foe, and gives her true damage based on 10% of her attack. So this is not a lot of true damage. And then she also has the damage reduction piercing by 50%. And then she can get up to 50% damage reduction as the dodge damage reduction. So getting the damage reduction piercing is definitely the most valuable thing out of this. And Dagger also got it. But here she's going to be having the damage reduction herself, and she is going to be piercing the damage reduction of the enemies. So this doesn't really give us the full picture because even Dagger's remix was a bit decent, but her weapon refine turned out to be really good with how she can give Pathfinder to her ally supported unit. So maybe it is something similar to Nott, but she checks for maybe the highest speed stat in 2 spaces and then gives that Pathfinder status. So that way it could work out in Aether Raids defense. So they could probably do that. Maybe she could get in combat panic like Dagger's weapon refine, and in that case she could be useful in Aether Raids defense, but I hope that her refine is good enough and definitely as good as Dagger's. And then we have got remix to Ashera. So she has got loud speed resistance 4 now, which is not the biggest deal for Aether Raids offense, but now that she can get damage reduction piercing, she could easily try and run this skill and still function with it. And she gets the remix to her Otter's Restraint. So this is now going to be giving +6 attack and resistance buff, the null panic status, and the null follow-up and the hexblade status to allies in 3 spaces. So its range has been increased, and if the number of allies in 3 spaces is equal to or above 3, then she herself gets the +6 attack and resistance buff, the null panic, the null follow-up status, and also the damage reduction piercing status, which we have seen before on Ledger and Camilla. So I kind of wish that she gave this damage reduction piercing status instead of Hexblade, because Hexblade doesn't really mean much against a lot of the modern tanks that just have high defense and resistance, so they're already min-maxed. So Hexblade status could have been replaced by this, and especially because we already have Plumeria who can give you the Hexblade status. So a lot of people have Plumeria as part of their Astromythic core, so this could have been useful on many of the tanks that want to pierce the damage reduction of the enemy, and even for player phase units this would have been really useful. And then if she's within 3 spaces of any kind of ally, then she's able to get +4 to all of her stats. Again, doesn't really paint the full picture, but I'm glad that she has got better support now that is within 3 spaces, so she can give a lot of units the null follow-up and null panic status, and this is going to be helping in tanking. And she herself can be a decent cleanup unit with her weapon, and now with the damage reduction piercing, I hope she can have some more supportive effects in her weapon refine, and this is not player phase focused just on her own combat, because you need some kind of support to age better as a mythic unit in Aether Raids offense. And there's no mythic Loki or Embla in the Astro season, so she can easily have any kind of supportive effect that she can have in her weapon refine. Finally, we have unpaused the demote refines, and Mustafa is going to be getting Plagian War Axe. So because this is a Plagian weapon, I'm expecting some kind of foe penalty doubler effect. So that way he can stat stack, and a lot of times they want to make these free-to-play demote units into a stat ball, so it could work out for him. And maybe he could also have the sabotage effect or foe buff stealer effect, so that could also work out with foe penalty doubler. And I hope that if he gets that, he can at least inflict some kind of debuffs with his weapon itself. So at the very least, he's able to provide some kind of support, similar to how you can inflict debuff with Arcane Threma. So maybe he can do that with the foe penalty doubler effect. And then we've got a refine for Summer Ingrid. I don't really expect her here. I thought Duo Violet would get one first, but here she is, and her weapon is really underwhelming. So maybe it could give her the healing consistently, and maybe she could have flow refresh built in this weapon. And the thing is that her weapon is so undercooked that they could give her like 5-6 effects, and it would still need something else to be better. So hopefully this gets some kind of canto built in, so that if she's running Guard Bearing 4 or any kind of other skill, then this is going to be much better. And she could even get Flow Guard 4, so that way she can get the Scowl effect, which would make it a lot better for her, at least in the player phase. She's probably going to be getting some kind of damage reduction, and healing is probably going to be continued on, so she is likely going to be functioning as a mixed phase flyer. So I hope that she can get something good, because a lot of people did get her in the holo forms. And then we've got Shinon, who does have close counter built in his weapon, so he doesn't really have the bulk for it. So I hope that he can get something that can make it easier for him to stat stack, so he could retaliate back with Deadeye, and maybe getting some kind of flat damage reduction would help him. But even if he gets a lot of stats, it's gonna be hard to tank the melee foes, so they could even just go the route of making him a better archer nuke for the player phase. So I could see them taking it either way. And then we have got Galle getting the Weapon Refine, and he's going to be getting Wyvern Lance, so I hope that it has got Wyvern Rift built in, because it is going to be helping him, or at least like better Wyvern Rift, because Galle doesn't really have the speed to make use of Wyvern Rift. So having something better that can give him the extra stats and flat damage reduction based on his defense would work out. And because he has got Guard Lance, he's probably going to be having Guard effect in his Wyvern Lance, which is not the biggest deal because we have got a lot of nukes with Null Guard, so it's not really as valuable as before. And then finally we've got male Kris getting his Weapon Refine. He pretty much has the same weapon as female Kris, so maybe they will just copy paste that. But female Kris's Weapon Refine, while it was good, it is a bit generic, so hope that Kris can get something more unique to him and not just a bunch of different effects slapped onto his Weapon Refine. And next month we should be getting Kalik as the Grail Weapon Refine, and then Duo Byleth is probably going to be getting her chance because Ingrid appeared in this month's Refinery Bat, so it's probably going to be Duo Byleth in August. And Legendary Claude and Uller are also going to be getting their Refine and Remix, so that is something you can look forward to. A lot of people have been waiting for Claude's Remix, so it is going to be happening in August. And we have also got some new limited Ephemera Manual units, but this time it's not really all that impressive. We have got Summer Niffle giving attack speed catch 4 and speed resistance near trace 3, which is not going to be used much on a lot of the units. I mean, it can be helpful whenever we get the tier 4 version, but it's mainly there for the attack speed catch fodder. And then we've got Summer Ogma, who doesn't give us anything. It's like attack speed solo, and that's pretty much it. So they could have had better 5-star selection for this one. And then we also have Lapis as the 4-star combat manual, so she does have Sorcery Blade for the fodder, but a lot of people are going to be trying to plus the merger, so this is going to be your chance of getting a free merge and not trying to get 32 diamonds before having a plus in Lapis. And then we also have Nabata Hawkeye. He does have Defense Res Ideal too, and Nabata Lance as the fodder, but again, this could be helpful if you're trying to merge him up. And then Kent is going to be providing reposition. He also has Snag 3 skill, so it can help if you're trying to fodder off Snag 4. And he also has attack speed bond 3 at 5-star. And his allied sword is actually a lot more useful on Sylvia because she is a dancer. She's mainly going to be having Deluge Dance, so whenever we get the tier 3 version of this skill, it is going to be helpful. And then finally we have got Legault giving you attack tactic as a budget slotsy skill. We also have some changes on how you can equip an emblem hero easily from the edit skill set section. So while selecting the skills in Sacred Seal, you can just select an emblem, which is a lot better. You could previously select them as part of your skill sets, but this definitely makes it a lot easier. And then we also have some changes in this update. So yeah, new memento events, and Bolt Tower is going to be upgradable to level 12. Yeah, Bolt Tower is the great equalizer against a lot of the low threat range teams, but there is Medius to protect you from that. And 2 new songs are going to be added in the concert hall: Vacant Cradle from Fire Emblem Fates, which is a bit of a serious theme, and then Golden Deer and Crescent Moon from 3 Houses, so basically Claude's theme, which a lot of people are going to be liking. And then Summoner Duels is going to be having its max favor level available at 4,500, and Fallen Lloyd and Groom Alcris are going to be available in the Heroic Grails. A lot of people are going to be merging up Fallen Lloyd because he's an amazing grail option for arena usage, so you can finally plus and merge him, and they're going to be correcting the negative status condition around stall. And then Summer Gulvik's Pride is also going to be changed when they trigger their duo skill, and they're also changing Summer Gulvik's artwork. I'm not sure what has changed on the first 2 artwork, but on the damage artwork you can see some strands here near Sather's hand. So that is the only damage art change that I was able to observe. I really see no changes on the first 2 artworks for whatever reason. I really wish they would just tell us like what is being changed on there. So they need to circle it so that we can at least notice it. So that is going to be all for the update, and we should be getting this on 4th of July, and it is going to be up at the reset, I believe. And I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support, and you can click the link on your screen right now to check out my banner breakdown of Emblem Celica, and you can subscribe and hit the notification bell because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as art changes in these updates. So that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.